Good morning. Welcome to the All Night Show. Another edition. It's August 19th, 2021. This morning, pretty tired. I believe we will have a new addition to the family pretty soon. We was at labor and delivery to about 1:30. We got home 1:30, 2 o'clock this morning, and she has started to show signs of labor. It's her third kid, so she knows that it's coming too. He's a little bit early, so they went ahead and gave him the Celestone shot to help his lungs mature quickly. But could be 5 hours. I may not make it through this video. It could be 5 days. Could still be 5 weeks. Technically, she's only 35 weeks. She'll be 36 weeks this weekend. We had our last child at 37 or 38. She'll correct me on that once she watches this. But anyhow, it's enough about me this morning. Today's episode is going to be called Let's Talk About Conspiracy Theories and what they really mean. What that word means, where it came from, all that good groovy stuff. You know, the name of the show, All Night Show, is where we get down into the nitty gritty of this itty bitty thing we call life. I hope to make this one more entertaining than some of my last stuff has been. And I know anybody that sees my social right now shows, you see how passionate I am about these things, and I hope to continue to share some perspective with you on these topics. Like I keep saying, I don't think I have it figured out. I'm just trying to get people to think outside the box a little bit. This is all just critical thinking exercises, and that holds a lot of weight in itself, but I think it's a good thing. But I want to lead off with a quote this morning from a real famous guy. You might know him. The quote is, "For what shall it profit a man if he gain the whole world and suffer the loss of his soul?" Some of you know who that is. But that's my good buddy Jesus Christ said that. Yeah, some of those red words coming out of the Bible. So, from what we know, that was at least 2,000 years ago that man said those things. And as I keep saying, if you've watched any of my past things, I'm a firm believer if Jesus was walking around today, he'd be doing a lot of the same things that a lot of guys like me are saying. Is just, I think you need to stop pointing fingers at each other and point them at the Roman guard. I know we don't have the Roman guard anymore, but we have state systems. That's what I'm trying to get at there. And I think those words are powerful because they mean a lot. They hold a lot of meaning, just as all words do. But obviously, the word of Jesus, our whole basis of history, our whole timeline of history is based off of the birth and death of Jesus Christ. So obviously, he was important. Whether you're religious and believe in that or not, he's important. But the reason that quote holds so much weight to me is because I think at this point, like I say, whether you're religious or not, whether you believe in science or not, I hope you believe in science, because science is supposed to be about the facts. I know that there's a lot of magical spells being shot around at people right now in the name of science, but science is technically supposed to be about the facts. And if you look at the facts, you're only about 15, maybe 20% human. I know that might sound weird, but that means most of the thing that this vessel is composed of is out here in nature and incorporated in all other sorts of plant life, animal life, fungi life, viral bacteria. We're composed of all of it. And so we're not that special. And what I believe Jesus is trying to say by that is what a lot of people are caught up in right now, and you just can't make nobody see the light anymore. I mean, you can chase everything in this world. You can have it all. You can be Donald Trump, be an actor and a successful businessman and use very sophisticated marketing techniques to capture your vote and get another notch on his belt, and then convince you that he's going to come back in 2024 just to keep his fame going. I mean, conspiracy theories, we're talking about them today. There's your first one. Well, actually, what Jesus said might have been, a lot of his quotes could have been considered conspiracy theories. But I say all that to say, we are nature, and you can chase all the riches in the world. You can have it all. You can gain it all. You can gain complete control of all of humanity if you want to be that evil son of a gun. But you'll lose your soul. You'll never be fulfilled. That's why those people seek so much power. It's because they don't know what life is about. Life is about living, loving, sharing with one another, smiling. It's beautiful. You can see your face. I just constantly smile at people now because everyone looks so sad. I know we're living in crazy times. That's why I'm telling you my story. Because I just hope that there's some people around me that are waking up, can see some of these things going on, and maybe if I get you to start thinking with some of my crazy thoughts that come out of my head that I don't suppress anymore, so you're gonna hear a whole lot about them, maybe you'll start thinking for yourself a little bit and stop listening to the little one-eyed monster that's always in front of you. So, I said I'm gonna try to make this entertaining. I probably will go on multiple more rants, but here we go. We're gonna talk about what I believe a conspiracy theory is. If you look it up, the word started originating probably in the 50s after the Kennedy assassination, for good reason, correct? I don't think we don't know the truth about that. What happened that day? To this day, we still don't know. And I believe that there are case files that have not been released to the public that will prove what really happened. So that's just my honest opinion. They started pushing out, they had to come up with some way to counter the fact that you had thousands, if not millions, of average everyday humans that seen that happen. And some percentage of them were like, something just didn't seem right about that. Maybe they're crazy, or maybe they're just thinking outside the box a little bit. Well, a small percentage of that small percentage then became obsessed with what they thought didn't seem right. So they started investigating. They became independent journalists, real journalists, and started uncovering facts. And when they started uncovering facts, the state systems started getting a little nervous. Oh, wait a minute. How can these people, they can't just go around collecting all this evidence that might go against what we're trying to tell the public? We gotta stop that somehow. I know what to do, just call them crazy conspiracy theorists. That'll work, right? Well, it does. It really does. It really, really does. But that's what a conspiracy theory is to me. It's just your average, everyday people There's a small percentage of them that are, looking at things, observing things, thinking outside the box, critically thinking for themselves. And they notice something that's a little bit off about something. Whether it's aliens or whether it's washing your hands. We'll get to that story in a minute. All sorts of things. Think about it. Almost everything. They notice something that might be a little bit off, and they become intrigued by it, and they start investigating it, and they start coming up with facts to support their case. And at what point does that fine line cross between conspiracy theory and truth? Nobody will even approach that question. You're either crazy or, oh, well, that was so 4 or 5 years ago. That's in the past. We can't dwell on the past. But this happens on a daily basis. And we just continue, well, I don't. Most people continue to just allow it to be put like legit right in front of your faces on a daily basis, and then tomorrow you wake up and forget about that one, forget about what that guy said 10 years ago. We called him crazy then, but then, well, actually, turns out he was right. But we're not going to acknowledge that. No, he's still crazy conspiracy, no matter what he does to defend himself. Drop the old notebook, sorry about that. But yeah, he's always crazy conspiracy theorist. And by the way, I just want to make a note real quick. This is what I'm going off of. These are my notes. And I come up with this from the time I woke up this morning. Like I said, I hadn't had much sleep. The time I woke up this morning until now, which is about 3 hours later. And most of that reason I had to wait that long is because I was driving and I really wanted the audio to be better in this video. I know it sucks, and I'm working on trying to find an app to improve that and get some sort of mic that will pick up better, especially while I'm driving around in this crazy loud truck. That's why I wear these earplugs all the time. Well, I like to consume audio as well, but it helped drown out all this crazy noise in this truck. But anyways, I'm going to give you some examples of some things in history, like proven facts in history. You can go research for yourself. And then maybe I'll give you some examples of some weird, crazy things. But remember, conspiracy theory, there's real no true definition. It was created to combat average people who were investigating the truth. Especially the reason it was cited the way that it was because these people were seeking to unveil truth that the government was trying to hide. I just want you to remember that. But the first one, I think this man was born in like 1816 and he died in like 1862. His name is kind of humorous. Ignace Semmelweis. I think he was Hungarian doctor, maternity doctor, I'm pretty sure. But anyways, this guy, he was a critical thinker, and he was a little before his time. Because I don't know if you are aware of it, but hand washing's kind of a new thing. It's only about 300-400 years old, whatever, 1860 something. But this guy's the one that recognized, I think he had a co-doctor buddy that had a hand injury and it got infected, and I can't remember what they used to treat it, but they realized then that something was going on with the germs on their hands, so he started washing his hands. Like I said, he was a maternity doctor, and back then there was a lot of fatality rates, in post-labor women from infection down there because doctors didn't wash their hands. It was legit thought that this man come up with this and started saving patients' lives. I think it was like 1 in 100 women died from this disease. Think about that. Like, how many people do you know that have given birth in your lifetime, and 1 in 100 would die And we're I'm not even going to go there today. But anyways, so he was doing this. He was saving lives, and he started trying to step out and try to share this with other doctors. And ultimately, if I remember correctly from the story, I'd have to reread all that again. But if I remember right, the church shut him down because they thought he was, preaching against the devil or something, or preaching for the devil, and they locked him up in an insane asylum. And he was a pretty young man, I think. He was in his 40s or 50s. And I think he tried to get out, he tried to resist at some point in the insane asylum. And the guards beat him. And if I really should have reread the story, but I'm pretty positive the story ends with the man who come up with the concept of washing your hands because it can save your life died in an insane asylum because he was called crazy from a hand injury that got infected. Let that sink into your little brains for a little bit. I mean, he was locked in a freaking crazy house for suggesting that you should wash your hands. I shall proceed. Okay, another fun fact. I don't know if you've watched any of the latest and greatest stuffs on aliens and UFOs. I'm not saying that there's little green men that are going to come land on the planet, but there's obviously phenomenon that's been happening in our skies for millennia. We have hieroglyphs in Egyptian pyramids. We have stuff in Mayan ruins that illustrate the fact that something's coming from the heavens to us and communicating with us, whether that's the story of God and Jesus, and or whether that's actually some other higher intelligent being that come here and did grant us with some form of power. Our government's been investigating it for years, and they have, but they continue to lie to you about it. And I think Project Bluebird that's the next one. Project Bluebird was 1960s, if I remember correctly. It was run by the Navy, and it was after the Roswell incidents. The Pentagon and the White House started looking into this stuff really hard. I mean, you can go watch old videos. There's a good documentary out now on Netflix, and I don't remember the name of it, but it kind of dives into this. But you can go watch these government officials and high-ranking military officers from back in that day openly talking about this stuff now. But 10 years ago, you couldn't, because it was conspiracy theory. I mean, do y'all not pick up on this? Is there not a pattern yet? But now it's, because enough average people saying something's not right here started asking the right questions and got enough of the right knowledge that I guess we reached that imaginary line where conspiracy theory becomes theory. Next one, MK Ultra. Please, I beg you to read into that, because that's your so-called leaders of the free world, politicians and alphabet agencies, giving their own citizens on their home ground drugs, lab-created drugs, against their will, to study the fact, see if they could come up with mind control techniques to allow soldiers to not feel pain during war. That was supposedly the explanation they finally gave out to people after years and years of people investigating MK Ultra, and they tried to destroy all the evidence. There's a great book out right now, and I should have freaking looked it up, but Joe Rogan had the author on his podcast, and I went and listened to it, and boom. I mean, This guy spent his entire life basically researching this. Ridiculed, life threatened, career destroyed, and it all turns out to be true. And this really screwed up part about it is, there's some more conspiracy that the old Manson family, that was so bad and killed all those people. I'm not saying they weren't crazy, but just the facts suggest that our glorious government were giving them all those drugs that made them go a little crazy. Yeah, and that was back in the 60s and 70s. We're talking about 2021 now. You think they stopped doing it? You think that they just, like I said the other day, got baptized and changed their ways? No, they're not better. You hadn't made no progress with their systems. They've made a lot of progress in controlling you, though. I can tell you that. 100%. Now, I've given you some pretty good examples of some past conspiracy crazy people theories that come into effect to be true. I understand that there are a lot of crazy crap out there, and that's why I wanted to talk about this. Whenever you start reading into these things, one word of advice: never go too deep into one trail. It's like getting dropped off out in the swamp somewhere that you've never been, in the middle of the night with no compass, and it's very cloudy out, so you have no stars for reference. Best course of action sometimes is to just wait till morning so you can find the correct trail. But it is healthy to expand your mind and to think about some of these other aspects, some of these other perspectives. Like I said before, whenever you start questioning your own paradigm, you start to really understand what you believe in. And I don't think 90% of the average population have any clue what they believe in. They may claim to, but they really don't have a clue what they believe in. Because if they knew half of the things that I've read about that have become true, been proven true, that you'll never hear about in the mainstream narrative because it's there to serve their purpose, your paradigm might start to shift a little bit as well. And it won't make you a bad person, it won't make you crazy. It'll actually probably make you a more humble, more appreciative person of life. And I think we can all agree that as a humanity right now, we're lacking a little bit in our lives. But anyway, so I agree there are some crazy stuff out there. For example, flat earthers, man. Like, this is the kind of stuff I'm talking about. Like, while you're being led to fight with one another about whether or not we can actually look at the same facts on the same websites and do the same math and come up with the same numbers, there's people over here that think the earth is still flat. Now, I don't know if you've listened to any of my previous videos, but I'm big into ancient cultures and ancient religious practices. If you hadn't realized by now, I'm a big believer in that cool guy named Jesus. But right over here in Poverty Point, Louisiana, culture, for right now, we're saying 5,000 years. I would be willing to put money on it. Within the next 10 years, we'll know that civilization was probably formed at the very, very least 12,000 years ago. You can ask me why I choose that number, but that's just something else I like to read about. So, we have an example of culture, conservative estimate 5,000 years ago, that knew what latitude and longitude was. They built their structures in perfect north-south alignment, set perfectly on longitudinal lines, And if you don't, and it's well within reason to know, or to expect, with that knowledge, they had to know about precession in the heavens. It's like 5,000 years ago. And if you don't know why that's important, I'm sorry, I can't help you. But it's very important because us cool modern humans, we didn't rediscover how to do that until like the 1600s, and we sucked at it then, and we've gotten really good at it now. And that's what I can't understand about flat earthers. Like, we should take all the flat earthers, put them on one big spaceship, and ship them off into the sky for a little bit. You know, put them on one of Elon's new little rockets that can come back. Just, you know, send the leader of the flat earthers clan up in one of your rockets, Elon. Let them see that the earth is round. Let them see that the moon is actually there. And then come back so we can stop talking about the flat earth. Like, please, we've one of you rich bastards paid to send the leader of the flat earthers to the freaking moon. And send the guys that don't believe that we've been to the moon, send the leader of that clan up there too, so that they can observe these things and we can stop arguing about them. 5,000 years ago, people knew what latitude and longitude was and what the precessions in the heavens meant. And we're arguing if masks work against the aerosol virus. Are you awake yet? I hope you're starting to wake up, guys. I love y'all. I hope this one was a little more entertaining than some of my other ones. I hope the audio was 20 times better than it has been in the past. I know you probably still got some background noise. I love y'all, guys. Y'all get out there, like the stuff that you're seeing, that people are starting to stand up for themselves. I don't care what it is. If they're standing up for yourself and what you believe in, that's good, because that means you're willing to have the conversations which will allow you to actually figure out what you believe in. That's my whole thing. Any of the people that might watch this that I've commented on any of your posts, or you've commented on mine and I've replied back, I'm not trying to be controversial. I just want us to conversate about what's actually going on and stop pointing fingers at one another when we know that we collectively have the power to change things. That's all I'm trying to say. But if y'all would drop by, y'all like and follow my thing, get the word out there, the social media posts. I'm gonna hit that one more time. Labor Day weekend, just try to spend as little money as possible. That's all I'm saying for 72 hours. Take it as far as you want to, have fun with it, enjoy your time with your family and friends, because that's really what it's about. All these riches in life, they don't mean a dang thing. You got to enjoy the time that you have, because it's precious. This vessel maybe has a 120-year lifetime max that we have now. We're getting better with technology. We may be able to extend that. I don't know. But until then, start taking care of yourself. Love your family. Love your friends. You know, ask your neighbor if they need some help. Reach out to somebody that you see. Smile at somebody that you see that looks like they're having a bad day. Let's come together, start changing this world for the future of our kids. You know, we're raising kids now. We got to make this world a little bit better. I don't want my kids raised in this world. I know that I'm going to have to, but I hope to shine, be a light that can shine out around them, to allow them to see that you can live the life that you want to live and be happy doing it. Thank y'all, guys. Y'all take care.